Welcome back to day 2. So yesterday I talked for a few minutes about Julian of Norwich, one of my favorite mystics. She's the first woman to have written a book in English, first known woman to do so. She wrote about a number of visions that she had, dreams that she believes God gave her, revealing about himself, his love for her, and the truth of the world. One of the things that she's famous for saying is, from this set of visions, is all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Another thing that she talks about a lot in these visions is how everything in all the world, all of creation, can be seen in a flash. She talks about how I had a pecan from when I was making these videos over Lent in the same space, that she talked about a hazelnut and all of creation being a hazelnut in a hand, and how tiny and inconsequential it seemed. But because God loves and cares for it, it exists, and we exist. And what that got me thinking about today is how we might be worried about the future, what's to come. We might have regrets about the past or things that we wish we'd done differently. But all that we have, the only place, C.S. Lewis says this in Screwtape Letters, the only place that we have to experience God and to experience each other, and the only place that we have to be, is right now, right here. This flash, this moment, this point. So for the next several minutes, join me, if you would, in this moment, this point, and meet God here. Today I'm going to be doing yoga in my street clothes. This is just what I wore all day today, because I think it's important to show that you can move your body and receive God's rest in your body, no matter what you're wearing. You don't even have to have a yoga mat. You don't have to have special things. I'm right next to my bed. I don't have a special room. So let's begin by just taking a moment to sit together. We're going to work especially on kind of our neck and shoulders and on our hips today. Those are places where I happen to carry a lot of my stress, and having shoulders that are scrunched up, or getting tension headaches, or having a neck ache, or feeling like my hips are stiff, or feeling lower back pain, which is usually related to your hips being too tight, or sitting for too long. So let's sit for another moment, shall we? Let fall off of your shoulders as you sigh and exhale everything that you're facing tomorrow, maybe even what you're facing the rest of the evening, and all the interactions you had today, the things you did right, and the things that you feel like you didn't do right. The things over which you have no control. And even for the next few moments, letting roll off your shoulders, let go from your breath, even those things over which you do have control. Just being here for the next few minutes. You can keep breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth if you'd like, or if you want to, you can switch to in through your nose and out through your nose. Anytime that you feel like you want to release some heat or release anxiety or anything, you can always come back to sighing. Maybe you release tension in your jaw. And then as you feel ready, bring your right ear toward your right shoulder, feeling the stretch along the left side of your neck, maybe coming down to your shoulder to the top of your trapezius muscle, which wraps around kind of the top of your back. If you'd like to increase the stretch, you might stretch your left hand out along the mat, along the floor. If you want to feel more stretch, you might lay your right hand on the left side of your head. Don't yank or pull, but maybe just let it have a little bit of weight. If you'd like to, you can roll your chin down a little bit, finding a different stretch, maybe toward the back of your neck. Maybe roll your chin up, finding a little stretch in the front of your neck. Find any space that feels especially tense or tight and stay there for a few breaths. One of the cues often used in yoga is to send breath to the place that feels tight or tense. Bring yourself back up to center, replace your hand. And while, of course, you can't actually send breath anywhere except your lungs, by bringing to mind that part of your muscle or that part of your body, you're sending awareness there, which helps to, I'm sorry, my dog is here on the bed. He's snoring. So sending your attention there can start to send more blood flow, more energy. Your nervous system becomes more aware. You can imagine blood flowing to that place. You can imagine the breath expanding it, even though your breath isn't really there. And in the Christian tradition, of course, the breath of life is often an analogy. You might want to move your neck a little bit forward, a little bit back, for the Holy Spirit. And so I find it helpful in my yoga practice when I'm linking my body and my breath movement, which is a way of yoking my mind and my body together, to think of the action that I'm doing, the breathing in and the breathing out, as a prayer. It's a way for my body to do in an action what I am asking, longing for God to do in my heart, my life, my body. Fill up my life with God's presence, God's Holy Spirit. So yesterday we did some cat and cow postures, so we'll do those again. They're so good for our back. I'm going to move this down a little bit while we're not standing. So you can have your toes tucked under or toes flat on the floor. Your knees underneath your hips, your wrists underneath your hands. No, your wrists on top of your hands, your wrists underneath your shoulders. And on an inhale, continuing that neck stretch, facing your face up toward the sky. And exhale, coming into this cat posture. If you've spent any time with a cat, you've seen them do this. Inhale to cow, that saggy belly, opening up all of the front part of your body, which maybe has been more concave. I don't know if y'all can still see me, but my screen just went to sleep. Yep, we're still going. Okay, great. Oh, real life, right? Now, one of the postures that we're going to do, this is a kind of intense stretch, but I really love how much it gets into your shoulders and your neck and into your upper back. The 6 different ways that you want to move your back every day are concave, convex, and concave. And to one side, like we did yesterday, to the other. Of course, you'll want to do this stretching maybe a little bit more involved, and then twisting one direction and twisting the other. So that's what we'll be doing in this next pose. You bring yourself to all fours, this tabletop position. Inhale your right arm up toward the sky. I'm doing it backwards so that y'all can see. And then as you exhale, let your air out. You'll thread this arm through between your left arm and your left leg. And if it feels all right, bring your shoulder all the way down to the mat. You might bring the side of your head to the floor. And you might just stay right here. You might stretch this arm out in front of you. You might bring this arm around to the back of you. You might stretch this arm up to the sky. Stay here for a few breaths to figure out what might be a good level of stretch for you. Of course, if you have a linen shirt on, it's not quite as stretchy as you might desire or I might desire. Enjoy a few breaths here. And then as you feel ready, bring yourself back up to center, rocking, maybe moving through cat and cow. And then we'll move to the other side, inhaling that left arm up to the sky and bringing it through the right side. Maybe bringing this arm up. Breathing deeply. I don't know if y'all can hear me. I'll come this way so you can hear a little bit better. What I wanted to say on this side is how great the twisting postures are. When you breathe deeply in a twist, it kind of squeezes all of your internal organs as your lungs expand. And then as you exhale, all of the blood can flow back into those organs, which really helps energize, detoxify, bring fresh blood into all of the beautiful parts of your body that are keeping you going without us even trying. And isn't that what we're learning in these days of healing and celebrating the resurrection, that God does everything without us trying. Our bodies pump blood without us thinking about it or having to direct it. Our bodies breathe without us having to direct it or do anything about it. And God keeps us breathing. So this next pose, you'll be on your belly. This is not recommended for women who are like more than 14 weeks pregnant, or if it's uncomfortable to be on your belly, you don't want to do this. But it feels super delicious if it's okay for you. So bring yourself down. Can you all see me? I think you can. And hug the ground. This is sometimes called a T, understandably. And then bring your right hand up under your shoulder and start to roll yourself any amount onto your left side. This creates a kind of big stretch along the front of your left side of your chest. You might want to have a little pillow or something to put your head on if your neck feels cranky about that, or maybe you're fine. You might want to use a foot as a kickstand, or maybe you're all right. If you want to intensify the stretch, you might go back and look for your arm. There it is. And you can kind of get some of the same stretch going on the other side. Of course, because all of your weight is on your left side right now, there's a lot more intensity of stretch there. And then that's going to be our second side as you stretch yourself out. Take a moment here to rest. And then as you feel ready, bring that left hand up under your left shoulder. I'll come this way so that I don't turn away from you and can't hear everybody anymore. Or no, so that y'all can still hear me. And then find your stretch on this side. You might find that one side is a lot easier than the other side. Often you'll find that in just about any pose. It's a way that we remember that even in our own single body, there's difference. Even though we have two thumbs, they're not identical. Just like every single person in the world is different. Every single one of us. Oh, so sit here for a moment, taking stock of how your chest, your shoulders, your neck feel now. Maybe do a few shoulder rolls. That tension is starting to release. I find I yawn when I'm releasing tension. So we're going to move into some hip exercises now. You can always get deeper into these if you don't have jeans on, especially skinny jeans, but it's worth doing no matter what you're wearing, even if you don't have time to change into special yoga clothes. So what we're going to do is come to a seat and place your feet the width of your mat, or if you don't have a mat, put them about 2.5 feet apart. So they're much wider, widerish than hip distance apart. And your knees are about at a 90-degree angle from your foreleg to your hind leg, your thigh. And what we'll do is we're going to do a few, you might call these windshield wipers. Moving your knees left to right. You can do this as slowly as you want. You could even leave them like this. You could even lay yourself down and do this laying down. You could even lay down and do one direction. And if you want more of a twist, you might stretch this arm out and turn your gaze the opposite way of your legs to increase that twist. Evening it out on the other side. Wherever you are, you can keep doing this lying down if you want to, but I'll show you sitting up in case you don't want to get down on the ground. Bring your left ankle to your right knee, and this may be a big old stretch. You've got your right foot, your right knee at a kind of 90-degree angle, and your left one isn't too far from it. And you'll feel a stretch toward the back of your left thigh and into your glutes on your left side. If you want more of a stretch, you're not feeling much right here, then you might want to bring your upper body closer to your leg. And if this is just way too much, you just can't do it this at all, Let's try it this way. You can try laying down. You'll be able to see better here. Laying down. You can put your ankle on your knee. Just bring it up this far. See how that helps for you. And if you're looking for more stretch and want to use gravity in a different way, you can approach the same stretch from the ground. I gotta figure out how to get my screen not to fall asleep. So as you're ready, you can bring your right ankle to your left knee, lying down or sitting up, wherever it is that you are, and begin to explore that same stretch on the other side. I'm going to try this sitting. Maybe you imagine sending your breath to that place that feels tight. Part of our prayer as we send breath to tight places in our bodies is that God would be present in tight places in our lives. That in the places that feel maybe scarred and heavy, or feel tense and brittle, that God would be there, that He would send His presence to stretch, grow, make new those parts of ourselves. So let's do one more standing up posture. I'm going to move us up a little bit. I'm going to step one foot forward and one back. I have my foot up because what I'm going to do is bring my knee down. So my knee is down on the ground and my foot is on the ground. I'm kneeling, one-legged, right? So bring both hands to the inside. I think actually this is going to be a better angle. Y'all are so kind to figure out with me how these camera angles work. Who knew I was going to learn how to do all this camera angle crap? Oh, so I've got my knee down. Can you see my knee there? It's there. Both hands to the inside of my left foot. You can have your back foot flat on the mat or tucked under, whatever feels good to you. There will be a stretch along the front of your right leg, the quad. There might be a stretch along the inside or the back of your left leg by the glutes. If you want to, you can even kind of let this knee splay out to the side. That'll get a little bit deeper into your glute muscles, into your hip on the side. And then to safely come out of that, scoot yourself back. You can bring those knees to meet. And then as you feel ready, bring your right foot forward, scooting it forward, however much feels like a good place to start. And then bring both hands to the inside of your right leg. Finding a stretch perhaps along the front of your left quad and the back of your right glute. I don't know what the front of your right glute would be like. This is a variation of lizard pose. And if you'd like to, you might want to splay that knee out to the side, getting a little bit of a different stretch in your hips. If anything in the poses that we do ever starts to pinch, step out a little bit. Or if it starts to burn or really hurt, you know your pain level and the pain that is in your body, and you do not want to break. There's always healing. There's always healing. But it's best, especially in this kind of culture where we're taught to push and push and push and push, to use yoga to listen to your body instead. I believe that God gave us our bodies for 50 billion reasons, but one is to listen to our limitations, to remind us all the time that we're human. And as humans, to God, 1,000 days is 1,000 years is as one day. But to humans, we are, we're trapped. We are spanned in time, ruled by time. And to remember that we are dust, that we are created, that all we have is right this moment, this breath, this flash, this point to meet God. Thank you all for practicing with me today. I'll see you tomorrow.